And I wasn't getting the results that I was looking for. Pretty much everywhere my competition was, and we weren't making much headway.
But it can't be done all by itself to make what I call the multiples occur.
Understands that marketing now produces patients in the future.
We're going back to, 2008. What was going on? Why were you moving over? What were you looking for? And then we'll talk about after that.
I knew that I was moving into a very competitive market, and I was moving my practice from a small town to a larger town. 30 miles was the move, and everyone thought I was crazy for making that move because there already were too many dentists in this town, they thought. I had tried to sell my practice for years, and no one was interested in buying my practice because of the small town and the volume of work that I was doing. Finally, I took the plunge, and I knew the only way I was going to be able to accomplish it was through advertising. I found right away that they were good at maybe doing magazine advertisements, but being specialized in dentistry, they weren't. They couldn't write it very well that it would relate to the general public. So I wasn't impressed, and I wasn't getting the results that I was looking for. We were doing a lot of newspaper advertisements where all my competition was, and we weren't making much headway. After 2 years, I started doing it myself, and I found was that I was getting new patients, but they weren't the patients I wanted. I was doing well financially, but the practice wasn't going in the direction I had intended or I had anticipated when I built the building and where I had been. And so that's when I started searching for a dental-specific marketer, and that's how I found you.
The reality was we started right before kind of the big crash. What were your thoughts going into that and seeing that occur at the same time? Were you doubly, triply worried about now what could happen?
I figured now would be the time to keep my foot on the pedal, and I don't know who I had talked to, either it was my father or a good friend of mine, is basically now's the time when everyone else is going to get tight, and I'll be able to outshine everybody, and I'll probably be able to corner the marketplace, and I kind of did. I see a lot of dentists, they come out and they market for maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 months max, and then they're gone. From everything I've learned in marketing, it takes 6 months to even get any traction. With postcards, for example, I did some postcards, and I pulled out of them before I worked with you, and it was funny, 6 months later, a year later, people were showing up at my door with these postcards that I had sent out. Some people sit on it. It's like the mailer you get in the newspaper from Ace Hardware. You know, you don't need a hammer today, but one day it's going to reach you and you're going to need that hammer, and then that will be there in front of
you. When it comes to connective communication and the actual products and types of things that a dentist will want to do, and these are the practical elements, they want to get out there and touch the audience with a specific directed informational piece that encapsulates all of who they are, or as much as possible, in one instance. And it's tactile, it's in their hands, it's almost guaranteed to get into head of the household's hands, at least for a few seconds, visualize what it's about, and then they might never look at it again, but it's a powerful, understandable piece that's comfortable, that makes them feel well, and that is the direct mail piece. The best thing about it is that you are guaranteed for somebody to see it, and the head of the household to look at it and to have an impression of it. And they don't need that impression very often, but they need to get it. It's probably the most powerful element of the connected communication approach, but it can't be done all by itself to make what I call the multiples occur. What are you seeing when a practice is moving towards success, is in a success area, Oli?
There's a saying that I have, vision without actions are hallucinations, okay? If the dentist cannot see, feel, and touch the number of new patients that he or she wants to see, you're dead in the water. An attribute of a successful dentist is where he wants to grow his business to. In other words, he wants to see X amount of new patients a month, etc., etc. The other attribute of a successful dentist is he understands that marketing now produces patients in the future. What you sow now as a seed is going to bloom 3 months from now, 4 months from now, and he intrinsically understands that in his mind so that he or she is disciplined. One of the biggest things in the mindset of a successful dentist is he understands he does not know enough about marketing or does not have enough time to be relevant in all the marketing trends, current and the future, to keep up to date. And so he hires somebody to keep up to speed with marketing trends. He contracts that to marketing experts.
10% every year since 2008. We're even ahead by about 10% this year. And so it's been a continual growth curve. You can't complain about that.
Thank you, Dr. Klym.